Welcome back to ABC 7 Extra. I'm Avery Martinez, mental health reporter. We continue our exploration of Hispanic culture across borders by looking at one institution being taken down and another being built up. They're worlds apart, but the mission is still the same. Navacerrada is a small community high in the Spanish mountains. Enrique, my colleague, and I are visiting a site that won't exist much longer, the mangled ruins of La Barranca. An abandoned asylum being torn down, replaced with a park. This was a mental hospital, isolated, like many in the past, part of an antiquated system.
The history of psychology in Spain is even more difficult than in the States because you know that, for example, during the period of Franco, the dictator, psychology was a thing that it was, well, kind of a taboo during 40 years when people they were having mental health issues.
In days gone by under the Franco government, Leticia says the approach was that a doctor was in charge of patients, not treating them. For decades, Spaniards with mental challenges wound up here, isolated and ostracized. The U.S. and Mexico had similar systems at one time. One of the board of the General Council of Official Colleges of Psychologists did some of his early work in these facilities.
And that was in the 70s. What I saw there was people that had been there for years and years, and they were left abandoned by their families, abandoned by society, and even some of them, there was no reason for them to be there.
There was a group of 15 with Down syndrome, left with no way to leave. Slowly, as time progressed, Spain entered the new era of healthcare, and people were freed from places like La Barranca.
A lot of people are very much against it, having intermediate houses for those people to start coming out again, trying to integrate them in society, but that was really hard.
By the 90s, Spain was moving toward patient care being more public and closing these facilities. Still, Dr. Martinez remembers at the time, kids in therapy were seen as troublemakers. Now, much like the skeleton of old Barranca, those beliefs are being torn down, turning from seclusion to inclusion. Half the world away in rural Juarez, we see a similar building.
Vision in Action has been around for nearly 30 years, a place of safety for some of Juarez's most affected mental patients. When it started out, it was just shacks in the middle of the Chihuahua Desert. But Pastor Jose Galvan, that founded this organization, now has psychiatrists working to support some of the most affected people.
He has an unconventional background.
I was in prison, and the lawyer set me free. For 2 years, I was praying, Lord, I need something. I need a big church for the people. Every day. And one day the Lord say, hey, open the curtains and see outside to the street. And when I open the curtain, I see a guy very drunk. And the Lord say, you don't need money. You can get the money from that guy. It's $20 there. Go talk to that guy and tell him about me. And he say, you have to put the vision in action.
For decades, he has been serving an underserved population in Mexico, but costs are growing.
It's 32,000 pesos, more than $2,000 every week. We need money.
Many at the sanctuary cannot pay and have no family. They depend on donations. Galvan working with experts crossing borders to help his vision.
And I went to the streets and looking for the people on the streets.
Right.
Aquí, mira.
Wow.
I was on the street of Juarez looking for my congregation.
Originally, Galvan was cooking, cleaning, and building a home. Now, with professional help, he is trying to take care of those struggling mentally and physically.
Because who want those guys? Who want to heal those guys? They smell bad, with lies. So when I saw those guys, I grabbed them and I started crying.
For Viridiana Torres, Vision in Action has changed her life. She tells me many people do not believe her story because she originally came as a patient with bipolar disorder. She was diagnosed what seems a lifetime ago, and as a last resort, her family shipped her to Vision in Action. After treatment, she went to work for the facility and rose up the ranks. Now, She's in medical school and one day hopes to run the facility.
Bueno, primordialmente yo creo que el mayor problema es...
She tells me a big problem is many people won't accept mental illness as an illness. She feels they classify it as a problem, but it's a condition. Shame is another factor. She says many people don't think patients can be part of society or get treated. Viri calls Vision in Action the chance of a lifetime and an opportunity to start over.
Pues Visión en Acción básicamente es un...
She says many arrive struggling, but Vision in Action makes sure they're cared for and gets them functioning again.
As you can see, it takes a lot of people to keep Vision in Action running every day. And I'm not just talking about the 400 meals that have to be cooked daily. I'm talking about the laundry that needs to be done. And as you can see, people here at Vision in Action are very busy. Do you have hopes or plans for Vision in Action in the future? Do you...
Well, yeah, I can see the biggest hospital nationwide. That is my dream.
So finally nowadays, we do have a system that still keeps patients, mental health patients, reclude a little bit, but not a lot. I mean, the perspective always now is to integrate them. How to integrate them? What can we do for them to feel well? So that has changed. Ideological and the clinical perspective has changed completely.
Two different continents, two totally different approaches, but the goal is still the same. Get support to the people who need it in whatever way they need that. Whether that's La Barranca, where the walls are coming down, or here where Vision in Action is expanding, the goal is still the same. Some place to begin to find treatment for your mental struggles. These stories represent just a small part of the many challenges mental health faces in the borderland and across the globe. This report was a collaboration of ABC7, the Association of Healthcare Journalists, and the Commonwealth Fund as a way to improve understanding of health across borders. Our thanks to their generous support and, of course, the individuals sharing their stories. You can find more about this story on kvia.com under the Be Mindful tab and see the full report on the CTV app. Thanks for watching, and good night and good luck.
Thank you for watching. ABC7 News is now available on any of these streaming services, as well as the KVIA News and KVIA Weather and Traffic apps.